Everyone, welcome to Jefferson Elementary and Mayor's Night Out. If you don't know me, I am Superintendent Scott Miller of the Hammond Public School System. Thank you. I'd like to, if you could join me, give me a round of applause for our principal here at Jefferson, Dr. Denise Eisman. We're always very happy and excited to host the mayor. As I mentioned in the last meeting, we've copied this. We had our first superintendent nights out at Irving Elementary. We have another one coming up, so we will continue to do that as well. So without further ado, let's welcome our mayor, Mayor Tom.
Thank you, Superintendent Scott. As we do every time we do Mayor's Night Out, we start off with the host council person giving a quick presentation and update on what's going on in the 5th District. So let's welcome your councilman, Council President Dave Werpel.
Thanks, Mayor. I never prepare for these things, but on the way in I was asked, hey Werpel, what's up with all the suit coats lately? And I went, I only own 2 coats. One of them's a hoodie, and the other one's a leather jacket that both Jake Jacobs, the cameraman, and Councilman Dave Ham told me if they see me wearing it again, they're going to burn the damn thing. So I don't wear the leather coat. Other than that, I grew up here. I lived about 300 yards away from here. I see some familiar faces from the neighborhood. And I'll keep this real brief. I'm excited not only for the 5th District, but I'm excited about Hammond in general. I don't think you can spend 60 years here and your entire life and not care about the entire city and not just one district. And other than that, I mean, I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that I've answered every phone call I've ever gotten, because I have missed some, especially during COVID and watching grandkids. But I try to get to all of them, but there's always the 311 app, and I want to say thank you to everybody that's sitting at these tables and the mayor and his staff, because someone says they need some garbage picked up and they call me, and 15 minutes later I called Jeff Rutherford, our district supervisor, and it's picked up. And other than that, Mayor, I'll turn it over to you if you're ready. Other than that, I can tell a couple more jokes. But pride and joy right now is Dowling Park and the way we've gotten that all worked out. A lifelong friend, Mark Naranik, that works for the park department, helped me with an idea, and it was used during the pandemic. It was a recreational activity that I'm very proud of, and I want to thank the park department and the mayor and the mayor's staff for helping out with that. And with that, you ready, Mayor?
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, Dave Werpel, everybody. Thank you. You know, during the pandemic, we started a practice that we'd never done before, and obviously every meeting we had during the pandemic was of the utmost importance, especially considering nobody knew what was going on. And we started using an interpreter during our Go Hammond TV, and we started using an interpreter during Go Hammond, and I like to introduce her each time. This is Jasmine Baker. Thank you very much for helping us communicate with Hammond residents. I'm going to look over the audience for elected officials, and I'll present them later on. There's a big crowd here in the 5th District. I have a feeling a lot of you are here because you're great, you're obviously great constituents. You want to know what's going on in your city. And also a lot of you are probably here because of a presentation we're about to do with Lockmiller Group in regards to a project between the 6900 block of Kennedy Avenue and the 6400 block, basically, of Kennedy Avenue. And we have some 3D drawings of what it'll look like going down the street. This proposal has been vetted by hundreds of constituents and comments, multiple public meetings, a lot with the HC3 business organization, who I appreciate very much for giving us a lot of the feedback that we need to make this project. And we'd like to unveil it tonight during Mayor's Night Out. We thought it was appropriate. Obviously, this is a 5th District Mayor's Night Out, and technically Kennedy Avenue is in the 6th District. However, I think it's safe to say that most of us, I live in the 5th District, I use that street just about every day of my life. So this is an important project, not just to the 6th District, but to the city of Hammond. And to present this presentation at the beginning of Mayor's Night, I want to introduce Amy Blaker, who's an MPA and a client service manager of the Lockmiller Group. Thank you. Nice to see you, Amy.
Hi, like you said, I'm Amy Blaker with Lockmuller Group, and I also have two of my colleagues here. In case we have questions at the end, Brian Arterberry, who is the Senior Associate of Central and Northern Indiana Roadway Division Manager, and Jocelyn Hinshaw, who is our Senior Landscape Architect. I'm really thrilled to be a part of the Kennedy Avenue project, not just because it's big and it's bold, but because I grew up in Hammond, specifically in Hessville. As a child, I took tap dance class at Miss Muffet's dance studio. I saw movies at Kennedy Theater. After Morton High School football games, I went to Hessville Restaurant. So I'm really excited to present the reconstruction of Kennedy Avenue between 164th Place and 169th Street. Mayor McDermott and the HC3 organization provided very clear goals that align with a walkable community and promoting a thriving business district. And that is what you'll see in our presentation tonight. It's a remarkable investment in the community and a progressive renovation for downtown Hessville. Kennedy Avenue will be transformed from not just a thoroughfare, but a downtown destination with that front porch feel. And to accomplish this, we need to slow down the traffic on Kennedy Avenue. And we do that by traffic calming. And one of the ways is what you see here at the intersection of Martha Street and Kennedy Avenue with the raised intersections. This tabletop design reinforces slow speeds and encourages the motorists to slow down for pedestrians. Also, by raising these intersections, the street comes up to meet you, which helps with the accessibility issues. This creates a safe, This creates a safe, slow-speed crossing and also highlights the public space that the Hessville Business District can use, and they can make those spaces as special as they want to, keeping with the unique characteristics of Kennedy Avenue. This increased space available to the Hessville Business District gives those options for innovation. And if you'll notice the contrast in colors, and it gives the intersection a special feeling. It gives it that downtown uniqueness. The intersection bump outs extend the curbs, and this doesn't just slow down the driver that's making a left-hand turn, but it also reduces the crosswalk for pedestrians, so there's less street for them to cross. The City of Hammond really prioritized the support of the business district on Kennedy Avenue by maintaining adequate parking. And this design shows the share the bike lane, and it also shows parking on both sides of the street. So with input from the business district and the city, Lockmuller Group has designed a streetscape that includes oversized sidewalks that support the business district. Increasing these sidewalks to 19 feet is progressive and it's transformational for downtown Hessville. And this image shows how businesses can use that sidewalk, whether it's for outdoor dining or if it's for sidewalk sales. It just opens up that space. And I have attended several of the HC3 events that happen in Hessville, specifically Live in the Ville. So I know what they're doing down there, and when you close off the streets, this just gives so much more space available. And you can see how the sky is the limit for creating those events. And it doesn't just have to be when the sun is shining, right? So here we get a look at the nightscape of Kennedy Avenue with the decorative lighting, and it gives the corridor some personality and gives a uniform feel as you drive down Kennedy Avenue. The plan will also include benches and planters, those types of amenities like GFCI outlets that gives more creativity to the businesses. So here's another example of the traffic calming on Kennedy Avenue. Notice that the roads have been slimmed in sides, which eliminates road waste, and it reduces the lane, which is safer for the motorist as well. When you have two lanes and the left lane is that fast lane and you're making the left lane turn, you're constantly jockeying for space on the road. So it's changing that fast lane, turning lane, and slowing things down. Lockmuller Group will introduce diverse trees into the plan to give the space a natural feel. It will provide cooling and reduce pollution and be overall inviting for the environment. Trees give that beautiful look. You'll have a beautiful tree canopy, but they also absorb water, which is always great. And you can see that we all have trees on both sides of the street. You can see that the city is really working hard to create that walkability goal. And we have a reason to walk. We have a variety of businesses from dining to retail, and a lot more visibility for the businesses now that we've slowed that traffic down. So you're driving slower so you can see what is up and down Kennedy Avenue. All of this innovation means that Kennedy Avenue will be a place that you want to go and stay a while. You can have dinner at Freddy's and walk down to Dairy Queen and get a sundae. You know, you can sit on a park bench and enjoy the amenities that Kennedy will have to offer. It's got to have a lot of green space. It's inviting to retail. The city of Hammond and the mayor are creating a healthy mix of that retail and dining and cultural space right there on Kennedy, where it's safe and enjoyable to walk or drive or roll or bike, with ample parking and spacious sidewalks. And if you have any questions, we'd be happy to take them.
We'll have them standing by. I want to add a few things to this, and then I'm sure there's probably going to be a couple questions. So if you're one of the people like myself that likes to get from East Chicago to Highland very quickly, and Kennedy is your shortcut of choice, you're going to hate this plan. Okay? One of the problems we have in Hessville is the same problem we have in downtown Hammond, and that is excessive speed, lack of parking, and when you go to cross the street, you just don't feel safe because the cars are moving quickly, especially the slower you cross that street. This plan is going to take that through traffic and move it to the north-south routes that's more applicable, like Klein Avenue, for instance, or Indianapolis Boulevard, or Calumet. You're not supposed to be driving that fast on that street. And if we're serious about rejuvenating, Hessville, we got to do things like this. We got to create more parking. We got to slow down the speed. We got to give the businesses an opportunity to expand out onto the sidewalk, like Freddy's Steakhouse. It's no mistake that we went just to the south, or just to the north of Freddy's Steakhouse. That's no mistake. We want to help all the businesses, and why not be loyal to one of the most loyal restaurants in our city of Hammond? And I want them to have that opportunity to be able to serve us dinner on Kennedy with the traffic going slowly by and people on their rollerblades and people on their, their bikes. So this is what we came up with, and this is nothing that was created by me or by my administration solely. HC3 was participating with this every step of the way. We took a lot of feedback, so I don't want you to think we just threw this together tonight. So I don't know if you have questions or recommendations, and we do have a mayor's night to do after this as well, but we have the people here. Dean, did you want to add anything to this? The city engineer, Dean Button.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a great presentation, Amy. Well done. I would just add that we're very close to going to bidding on this project, and we want to start construction as soon as the weather breaks in the spring, and we seek to have the work completed next year.
Thanks, Dean. Questions? By the way, thanks to everybody for coming out tonight. Thanks to the Lockmiller Group for putting together a great presentation and working with us every step of the way. I want to let you know where we stand procedurally right now is there is 2 federal representatives. Since Dan the Tracker is here, I want to point out that I know most Hammond residents are aware I'm running for U.S. Senate, and part of the job of running for U.S. Senate is getting people hired to follow me around with the cell phone. Dan the Tracker's here, so I want him to take this back to Todd Young. There's only 2 federal representatives in Indiana that voted for this bill, Congressman Frank Mervan and Congressman Andre Carson. Every other Indiana representative voted against a bill that would help fund projects like this, which is preposterous. Are we so broken as a country that when you have an opportunity to rebuild your cities, we're turning it down on ideological grounds? Take that back, Dan, okay? This is a great project funded through the ARP plan, all right? We got $41 million through ARP, $53 million through ARP to use for projects like this. School City got money to help them with their budgets also. Money coming back to the public school system. Money coming back to your city so that we could rebuild Kennedy Avenue, Holman Avenue. It's a great project. The Hammond City Council voted 9-0 to allot $5 million for this project. And that gives us almost every step of the way we need to be at. So thank you very much. So Dean, this project's a go in the spring. As far as we're concerned, we're going to start bidding it.
Bid in December, break ground in the spring.
So, you know, this is a great project. So any questions from the audience before we move on? Yes, ma'am. Thanks.
I'm thinking the only place I go, and I live a block off of Kennedy, is Dairy Queen. I mean, I don't want to shoot a gun. I don't want a tattoo.
Right.
I don't need my hair done there. I don't want to drink. There's not a whole lot there to entice me.
Well, that's what we're trying to
get
do,
there.
Mayor. That's
so
part.
is anybody showing interest in moving,
Oh,
opening
so
a business and?
we have Ann, I imagine. Hey Ann, how's it going? And we got Ann Anderson and I got Africa Tarver. Both Africa is in charge of planning and development. Ann is specifically within economic development.
Yep.
I imagine you heard the question.
Yeah, so economic development, we help with the businesses in Hammond, ones that want to come here, relocate, expand. Yeah, we're here to help them find locations. The HC3, as Mayor mentioned, which is the Business Association in Kennedy Avenue, I feel that they would think they're very active in Hessville, and I know that this plan being announced right now is really going to perk the eyes up of developers, retail and commercial offices that would like to come here, because this is a very innovative, exciting plan.
You don't like it, ma'am?
We'll see. We'll see.
Okay. Questions? Yeah. Hi.
Hello. Question. I just noticed that all these sidewalks are going to be ADA accessible, not curb, right? The other thing is the green that's going to be there, is that grass area or is it going to be like AstroTurf?
No, it's going to be grass.
Is it
I
going to be
imagine.
grass? Wasn't that like a,
AstroTurf would be cost prohibitive.
is it that? Oh, I don't know what it costs, but you know, you got a maintenance with the grass. I figured,
sir.
you know, like you have the grass,
Yeah.
you know,
It'd be, yeah.
paint it green.
Paint it green? Yeah. That's what they do in Arizona, right? Thank you, I appreciate it. You know, I figure in downtown Hammond, we're getting some pushback on a plan that's very similar to this. By the way, to say this wouldn't be inspired by Jeff Speck, the nationally renowned planner that we hired to give us advice on downtown Hammond, I would be lying to you if I didn't tell you this plan was inspired by what we learned in downtown Hammond. And both projects are funded through ARP. Both projects are getting ready to be bid out. Both projects are very similar to each other. And I'm proud of us for learning from the first project and applying it to the second. And timeline-wise, they're both moving at the same exact pace, which I think is excellent. So it's going to be exciting when this is unveiled. Any questions on this proposal? Okay, we got a lot to talk about in Mayor's Night. I want to thank the Lockmuller Group again, and Amy, I thought you did an excellent job. Could you give them a big round of applause, everybody? I'd like to introduce the elected officials that are here today and thank them for being here. First, I have Councilman at Large Dan Spitali. Nice to see you here, Councilman. County Councilman Dave Ham. Good to see you, sir. Thank you, Dave. Councilwoman at Large Janet Venez. Good to see you, Councilwoman. Hammond's 3rd District Councilman, Barry Tyler. Good to see you, Barry. Your 5th District Councilman, Dave Warple. Good to see you, Councilman. Hessville's Councilman, that's the 6th District, Scott Rakos. Good to see you, Councilman. I want to thank everybody for being here, especially the residents and everybody that came out. Let's go ahead. And this is, for those of you that aren't aware, the length of this is driven by questions, really. And we have Eva and we have Alex over here from my office. They're working tonight, and they take your written questions. Right now we have a few of them, which is great. If we get more, we'll continue going, and usually when we run out of questions, we go home. So thank you guys for being here. We haven't introduced the department heads yet. Why don't we go ahead and do that? Sharon, how you doing?
Good evening, Mayor.
How you doing? Sharon is our personnel director, and she also runs a college bound program. I'll introduce you for them.
Thank you, and I will pass the microphone off.
I'm Nicholas Farrell, City Hammond Code Enforcement Commissioner.
Bobville Building Department.
Matt Muta, Hammond Sanitary District.
Marty Wolgas, Hammond Sanitary District.
Jack Smith, Sewer Maintenance.
Kelly Kearney, Inspections Department.
Jeff Rutherford, Public Works.
Jaime Prieto, Water.
Ann Anderson, Economic Development.
Africa Tarver, Planning and Development.
Ron Novak, Environmental.
Dean Button, Engineering.
Scott Miller, Hammond School Superintendent.
Phil Talon, Chief of Staff.
Kevin Smith, Corporation Counsel.
Mylon Krasinski, Port Authority.
Brian Poland, City Planning.
Lavita Sparks Wade, United Neighborhoods.
Renee Ortega, Legal Aid.
Owana Miller, Community Development.
Megan Flores, City Controller.
Andy Short, Police.
Jeff Long, Police Department.
Jim Talon, Park Department. Chris Campbell, Information Technology.
Jeff Smith, Fire Department.
Carmen Paniagua, Housing Authority.
Mark McLaughlin, Water.
All the experts are here, so we can answer any question you have in regards to the city. This is an excellent opportunity for you to bring it up. I'd like to remind you that we air every one of these on Go Hammond TV. That's what Jake's doing right now. He airs it. We archive it on Go Hammond TV. So if you just can't get enough of these types of meetings, you can go home and watch it. So let's go ahead and get started. How are we doing, Eva? We got our questions in? Donna has them?
I'm back here, Mayor.
By the way, Donna's only got one mayor's night out left before she retires from the city of Hammond.
Woo!
You're not supposed to dance. I was like saying it like it was sad, and she's like, whoop, whoop. It's like,
Who doesn't
so,
love
yeah.
to retire, Mayor?
She's gonna really miss us, I could tell.
I will. It's been a pleasure to serve, and thank all of you for your support.
And by the way, resident of the 5th District for as long as I've known you.
Yeah, I grew up in Hessville.
Yeah.
And I
but
live
you've
in
lived
Woodmar.
down the street. You could have walked here. You probably didn't, but you could have.
I have so much stuff to bring. I can't
Of
carry
course,
all that.
Of course. So,
Please.
Yes. So how we doing, Donna? We got a few questions I heard.
We have about 9 right now.
Oh, good. Let's get started.
We'll start with the police department. Kennedy Avenue renovation truck route. It's not really in a question, but I think Chief Short knows what this is about. Correct?
Got a microphone, Chief, so the audience could hear you at home. Hey, Chief, you want to come over here so you don't have to bend over? You can come to. Yeah. It's like.
Good evening. As far as the truck route itself, we have, I think the young man is here tonight, he's always given us a couple of complaints in regards to the truck route itself. That is not a truck route. What we have been doing is that we have written over 189 tickets. 56 of that was for the trucks itself. I know that some people don't see our guys out there, but I do have pictures on Facebook to show my officers are out there writing all the tickets. We also have done 285 tickets in the Calumet and Indianapolis area also. I hope that answers your question.
Sure.
Related to this renovation, now the truck route, we understand the designated truck route is 165th North on Kennedy. So how is that going to affect going to 164th with the renovation? That one block?
Sounds like something that I'm glad Lockmuller's in the house for, who just did this renovation. Did you guys hear that question by chance? It's the truck route. Could you explain it again, sir?
The truck route, designated truck route starts at 165th North on Kennedy, right at Freddy's Steakhouse. So if you're going to be extending that, are you going to allow the trucks go through that renovated area?
The answer is, Dean Button with engineering, the answer is yes. Trucks will still be allowed to go.
Semis and dump trucks
They'll
and-
have to be allowed to go in that direction, but we are narrowing the street, right? Because that's a designated route for them at this stage. I mean, so they're eastbound on 165th. There's no other direction that they can go. Their project ends right about at that location, and they will be allowed to continue north on Kennedy. We have no intention of removing Kennedy from the truck route system in Hammond.
That one block.
Well, the entire run north to Michigan will remain a truck route.
Yeah, but I'm saying about that one block, you want to go north.
Yes, sir.
From 165th, right there by Freddy's.
Yes, sir.
That's going to be okay for trucks coming
To go one block north to get to
Yeah,
165th?
go one block down that one-way street.
Right.
One way, both sides. You
It's
gonna
one
allow
lane
that?
in each direction, but
You
it
gonna
will
allow that?
accommodate truck vehicles turning northbound.
You're gonna allow
Or
that?
southbound vehicles turning westbound onto 165th.
Sounds like an interested party, right, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that your business, or?
I mean, tearing up that street and everything with these, we've had this issue with the dump trucks and semis going down Kennedy.
Do you live there, or is it your
I
business?
live on 169th and Marshall for 30 years.
Right.
And this issue was brought up at a Crime Watch meeting with Sergeant Holbrook. We talked with the chief about all the dump trucks going, because they're going to a business right in East Chicago. They're using it as a thoroughfare. And what I'm saying, it's greatly reduced the truck traffic. And of course, the chief says, it's for local traffic. And you could watch, not all these flatbed trucks, all these is going. So there's still gonna be people going down that. And you're spending all this money to renovate this, and you're gonna still allow these semis going 165th north or west and east. They could turn.
Semis
that-
are going to be allowed on this thorough?
So, as you know, Mayor, west of Kennedy is Hammond Lead
Right.
and the
And they need to get from 165th to
So
Michigan.
their option is to either go to the boulevard, which we could certainly do.
I agree.
Or their option is to go
It seems to me like that's
east
the
to
proper
Kennedy
option
and
in
go
light of
north.
all the.
Yeah, that's the option, but to obey it,
No, I agree with you, sir. We have that issue in 129th, for instance, in
Yeah.
another part of the city.
Right.
This is a great question. I appreciate you bringing it up.
Because it's that one block.
Yes, sir. Agree. I
So-
think we're going to have to talk about this and we get the councilman involved, but.
So Mayor, we do have another project that we're funded through NERC that is a road diet project, Kennedy Avenue from 164th Place north
right.
to Michigan.
To Michigan,
That
right.
that
That's the
project
next
is
phase.
funded through the federal highway funding.
Right.
So we do very much intend on accommodating vehicles on
But
that.
I think the gentleman brings up a great point.
Certainly
that-
does.
One block.
Right.
One block.
I think we're going to, let me look into this.
Thank you.
And I appreciate you bringing it up, sir. Did you write that question down by chance, or?
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, the chief, yeah.
Thank
I
you.
put that
That's an
down.
important. That's an important reason we enjoy the written question, so that we can follow it up. And this
Because
is a great
like-
example.
Like I said, Mayor, you can't catch everybody.
Right.
But still, I mean, I could be in my backyard there on Marshall, and clank, 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 they're coming down, barely, and I followed them one time all the way to this transit company in East Chicago. They're coming north and south.
Gotcha.
And they issue a lot of tickets, that's good, instead of just warnings. And of course, not everybody obeys the law.
Yes, sir. Agreed.
So I'm just concerned with that one block from Freddy's North.
I appreciate you bringing it up.
They're gonna come like that north and say, well, it's a truck route, 165th north, that's what we're told.
We got to look into
That's
this.
the
guys.
ordinance.
Okay. We'll
That's
follow
the
this up, I
ordinance.
promise you, sir. I appreciate you bringing it up.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. And we got some time to work out the details, because the project's going to take better part of a year. Is that safe?
So I'm sure you don't want the trucks, going down the side streets there.
Agree.
So pass up
Absolutely.
that one block.
And the thing we have to keep in mind that, like, I like to think about this. What's it going to be like? I drive around Northwest Indiana a lot. One of the places I think about when I think what this is going to be like at the end of the day is downtown Highland. Not the kind of place I would go for a shortcut, right? Because you get stuck and somebody's backing out and they're going slow and you're sitting there. And if you're in a hurry, that's what I picture. It's not going to be fast. And we are doing this intentionally. And I agree with you. If we had semis, it would make matters 10 times worse. And I appreciate you bringing it up, sir. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Questions? Okay, let's go on to the next one.
Next up, Mayor, there's a truck and trailer on 169th and Ridgeland impairing the view of traffic. Can we do something about this?
Really? Yeah, I hate, we, seems like we have another one right by City Hall on Calumet, just a couple blocks south of City Hall. It's annoying. A lot of times the truckers like to dump it someplace. 169th and Ridgeland, have you guys heard about that by chance in PD? Oh, thanks, Scott. Nice to see you. Community Affairs Officer Scott Holbrook.
Yeah,
Nice
I've
to-
ticketed it myself. I know Lieutenant Strabobby has ticketed it. I do check for it periodically. I haven't seen it lately, but I'll check again tonight when we leave, see if it's there.
Thanks. Like, not really, like, can't really tow a semi. I mean, I guess we could technically, right? But ticketing them over and over, and hopefully they get the message, right? Yeah. We have another one that's parking on, do we own that property? I guess it's Kenwood. Is it Kenwood in Calumet? Right by Mount Zion? Barry, that's in your district. You know there's semis parking there all the time? I think we own that property, if I remember correctly. Do you know, Barry? Brian? It's privately owned, but there's a semi parked there every day now. I see it every day going into City Hall. It's something maybe we could check into. Scott, maybe you could have some officers follow that up. It's Kenwood and Calumet, right by Mount Zion there, in the bike trail. Thank you for the question. Keep them coming in. This is our job. Yes, ma'am.
Hi.
Oh, hi, sir. How you doing?
How's it going?
Sorry.
That pickup truck and trailer is not always there all the time, but when we do report it through the 311 app, by the time the police get there, the truck is gone. Now, we've been informed that the person who owns that truck lives in one of the houses across the street and is running
Right.
a business out of that house. Can an ordinance be put on that street to disallow parking of that particular vehicle?
Great question.
Because it does impair people's view coming off.
So you're
of
saying,
Richmond
sir, this semi driver is leaving his truck there and he's saying this is my work
Avenue. It's
vehicle?
not a semi-truck.
Well,
It's a pickup truck. It's a Dodge, I think,
oh,
3500
and you're
pickup truck.
Oh, and
With a fifth
it's
wheel.
legally parked
It's got
though.
a fifth wheel trailer on it.
Oh,
And it's been brought up to Mr. Ropo a few times already. We've asked him about it.
right.
And
So it's
he
legally,
just keeps-
but it's legally parked though, right?
Well, technically, yes, but it is impairing traffic.
It's not legally parked. That's why we've ticketed it several times.
Okay.
It's a large Dodge pickup truck, like you said, but it has a car hauler on the back that hauls about 3 vehicles. So that's why it's illegal, is the car hauler on the back.
Okay.
But we do go out there whenever we get to 311, and I also just drive by there periodically. And if
Officer
it's
Holbrook,
there-
is there a lag? Because the gentleman brings up a real good point. Let's say it's Friday evening and he puts a complaint through 311. And do you not see that until Monday as a police officer, or do you see
That
it?
would be correct. Something like that would need to be a 911 call, which is not emergency.
By the way, and you realize, and this is exactly opposite as what we learned our entire life. When I grew up, when 911 came about, they say you call 911 if you're dying or somebody else is dying, if it's a life-threatening situation. And then the state forced all of the cities in Lake County to merge into one 911 system, which we're participating in because we were forced. They didn't give us the option to keep Hammond dispatch. So we're part of this 911 now. And now the rule is you call 911 for anything. You call 911 if there's a cat in a tree. You call 911 if there's a truck parked illegally. Chief, true story, right? Because I don't want anybody to get arrested saying I heard the mayor say this. Right? That you call 911 for any complaint, which would address your lag, sir. And that's a great point you bring up. The lag between when you put 311 in could be a whole weekend, right?
Right.
So in this case, I think what Officer Holbrook and the Hammond Police Chief's telling us is you would call 911, believe it or not, and you would get a quicker response in that case. And it seems exactly opposite to everything we've been taught, but that's how we work it now. And by the way, Hammond is not in charge of the 911 system. Not in charge. This was forced upon us. We weren't asked our feelings on it because I know all the Hammond police officers and all the Hammond firefighters and most of the Hammond residents would rather have a Hammond dispatcher answer that call when we're in a life or death situation, but we weren't asked. Councilman, go ahead.
No. I hope it's on. Mr. Lippo, I've drove by there several times, and it appears to me like it's somebody that's running cars for like used car lots, because I've seen people that use those before. Is that the house you're talking about? Yeah, and I heard your question about is he running the business out of that house,
Well,
and I can't tell from just driving by there.
Okay, the response back on the 311 app to my question was that from the Hammond Police Department, that he is running a business from one of the homes on that street on 169th. And if it's, to me, it would be more easier for him to park at where the old Amical station used to be on 169th and Indianapolis Boulevard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen it parked there several times, and then there's other times when I'm taking the kids to school that it's just not there. I mean, he's got weird hours on when it's parked out there. I know that.
Well, some of the residents have taken, a step forward and put one of their cars parked there just to prevent them from parking there.
Yeah. What's it? Okay. This is Jeff Long. He's the Assistant Chief of Police. Gave me another number if you're out there or watching on TV. A non-emergency number gets you to dispatch, right? Correct. And everything is 10-digit dialing now. So we have to dial 219 660-0000. It's very easy to remember. 660-0000, and you have to put 219 in front of it. Thank you, Chief. All right. So if this seems like a very specific issue, and I'd rather we deal with this one after, if you guys don't mind. Maybe the councilman could get together with the police, and we could try to figure out a way around this, sir. But it seems like it's sort of a specific issue at this point. So let's go ahead and move on to the next question, if you don't mind.
Speeding problem down Ridgeland from 6,900 to 7,100. Can we do a speed camera or anything like that?
I'm trying to think of a speed camera we have in the city of Hammond. I don't think we have one, do we?
Well, not a camera, but the PD.
I've seen them like on the Skyway, for instance. On the Klein Avenue extension, there is.
So PD traffic does have a device that they deploy periodically. It's
From the
called,
question, I think it's not like a temporary thing. I think they sort of wanted something permanent, which would be unique, right?
well, so we could first measure the speed, right? Because we've done that on a couple of occasions,
Right.
173rd and Detroit. Highland, we've measured the speeds of vehicles traveling. As you know, on Homan Avenue, we put up speed detection so you can check your speed as you're coming. Or it's a signal that shows you what the speed limit is and your traveling
Right.
speed, and it flashes and illuminates
Right.
if you're exceeding the speed
Right.
limit. So that's but I don't think we really want to do that in a residential area.
And if we did it there, you would have 500 requests that are very similar, and we'd have to buy 500.
Agreed.
Right.
And as you
we
asked,
went into these issues, and like somebody says, well, if you do one on Ridgeland, I live right off 129th, and people are going 50 miles an hour there, and then we put one on 129th, and somebody in another part of the city wants one, and we get into that where we're chasing our tail, so to speak. And we've talked about this in regards to other traffic calming issues as well.
you've tasked me to prepare a policy for speed humps, right?
Speed bumps, right.
Speed humps, if that's okay, Mayor. It's an elongated speed bump.
I prefer bumps.
Bumps are good.
Tomato, tomato, who cares, right?
Well, it's an engineering situation,
I'm
Mayor.
not an engineer.
Yeah.
I'm a layperson.
So we are working on a policy, Mayor,
Yes, because I know Councilman Barry's dealing with issues like that in the 3rd District, just like other district council people. And we get into a situation where somebody's like, hey, I want a speed bump in my neighborhood. Traffic's really tall here, or really fast here. And then we say, oh, sure, we'll do a speed bump here. And then somebody in another district's like, hey. And then before you know it, the entire city's got speed bumps everywhere.
So, Mayor, what you don't know is I'm working on this policy.
Yes, sir.
And it requires a number of departments and the mayor and the councilman to agree that we would move forward on this. But there's criteria for setting speed humps.
Great.
And in my research so far, it's, believe it or not, the 85th percentile speed, that is the speed at which the 15% of the population is driving down that speed on that street, has to be 15 miles an hour faster than the statutory speed limit.
Gotcha.
In other words, statutory speed limit is 30 miles per
Right.
hour on local streets.
And almost everybody goes
15% of those people have to be 45 miles an hour or
Right.
faster
Right.
to qualify engineering for a speed bump or hump, as the case may be.
Bump.
So we're working on those details. But I think the question really was about, do we have a device to measure the speed?
Yes.
And we do.
And could we put it there?
And we could put it
We got
there.
into a
Yep, I have to work
sidebar
with
about
PD
that.
to do that. Yes, sir.
Just to inform you, there is a daycare center on that street near 171st, and I believe there's a deaf child living on that block.
On
There's a
Ridgeland and
sign
71st?
Yes.
Right.
So I think it needs to really be addressed.
Thank you. I appreciate it, sir.
Sir, is there, instead of the 311 app, a phone number to call for alley pickups?
Oh, well, a lot of people to do alley. I'm going to give you a hint, though. The 311 gets you to the front of the line. Who's here from Public Works today? Mr. Johnny? Hey, what's up, Jeff? That's our district. He's our district supervisor. Nice to see you, Jeff. Jeff, first thing you guys do every day is 311 request, right?
Yeah.
So every morning when you wake up at, 5
So-
in the morning or whatever you
Yeah, so Colleen has them in our box, ready to go. Soon
How
as we
many
walk
do you
in.
usually have? And you do the 5th district, so how many would you
20 a
normally-
day.
20 a day?
Yeah.
Like right off the bat, you do?
Every day.
And then you also have people that call it in, which
Yeah,
is sort
just
of the whole
regular
thing.
tickets also.
Right. So, I mean, either way, it gets you there. 311 gets you to the front, we think. But during work days, you can call the mayor's office. We get those all the time, right? 853-6302. Get you right to my office. We are sort of like a switchboard for the city, and we pass you along, or we'll take the request ourselves. So either way works. Questions?
Sir, I like the bike lanes on Homan. Are they going to be restriped because they're starting to fade?
Good question. Look, Dean's getting a lot of action today. We got to First off, when we did Homan, the bike lanes on Homan, we were painfully aware that they're parallel to a bike trail. Okay, we're painfully aware of that. So was Mr. Speck. We did it nonetheless. But are they going to be restriped? And by the way, they go all the way down to the Munster Lion, which I think is wonderful. And the neighbors really, we thought we were going to get a lot of pushback, and we didn't, which is nice.
We will keep them maintained, Mayor. Yes, sir.
Thanks.
The bike crossing on 173rd, there should be a flashing light 24/7, not just during the day.
Oh, is that the one by Gabbett? Is that the one? No,
On the
that's
Erie
75th.
Lackawanna? Well,
Right by the YMCA. That's a dangerous crossing. I agree.
It doesn't really say exactly
No,
which one.
that one, I don't like that crossing. I go through that one often. It's part of my workout route. It's not the safest crossing because traffic on 173rd is supposed to be another street that could probably use a speed bump.
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to bug you at this
Yep.
point. Yeah.
Yep.
But that's a dangerous crossing. But, we have, what are those called? The
lane delineator?
No. The warning lights for the bike. What's
Hawk
that?
signal.
Hawk signal. The hawk signal is something that we could probably use there, but that's a little slow too.
Well, we also do those solar-powered flashing lights
right.
with the bike symbol.
Right, we have that.
Periodically, that'd be easy to deploy.
I'd rather have that one.
Yep.
Okay.
It's simple. It's a good idea.
These are all written questions, right, Donna? So you can forward them to me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. We do follow these up after. Hi, sir.
It's 173rd and Lyman.
Right.
By that, where it's flashing over there, because I don't think it flashes like after a certain time.
Really? So maybe we can get to, I
Because
know what he's talking about.
Yep, on the
Right.
Monon. Yep.
On the Monon,
Yep.
right.
Yep.
Okay. We could put one of those solar ones over there.
We'll
with
look at it. It may be malfunctioning.
Hey,
There's
Jeff,
one
I-
there now, right?
Oh, okay, I don't know.
We'll attend to it.
Could you look into that, Jeff? I know it's the 4th District. 173rd and Lyman. We have Gary, I know he's used those solar-powered flashing bike lights. Maybe we can try to get one over there. Thank you. Thanks, sir. Go Hoosiers.
I could have been hit many times by the light on 165th by the bike trail because people ignore the signal. Maybe it should be policed more?
Okay. A lot of bike trail complaints. I've used that one a lot also. That's probably even more dangerous than 173rd because the traffic on 165th is even faster than the traffic on 173rd. It's a hawk signal. You can press the light. They're supposed to stop. Do you guys get a lot of complaints about that? People blowing through? When I first started using them, I'm a cyclist, I know most of you are aware. When I first started using those crossings, I wouldn't trust a car until I literally saw it stop. So I still don't really jump out in front of cars. Even though I got the flashing light on my side, I still don't do it until I literally see them slow down. I would recommend that for cyclists. You get hit once, it's game over for a lot of us, especially on that street. And we looked originally at using a tunnel there to go underneath 165th, but there is something on the school city side. I want to say it's like a thermal air conditioner.
Geothermal
Right.
heating of
Right.
the Maywood School side.
That blocked us out from going underneath. And then that one we couldn't get a bridge over like we did with most of our intersections, so we used the hawk, and it's not ideal. I acknowledge, and that's a dangerous one. But I think the point is maybe we can have the police officers over there take a look at it, and I think that's a good point that that person made.
Next up, Mayor, coming north off of 8094 onto Indianapolis Boulevard, the median to turn left on 175th should light up or something.
Ugh.
It's very hard to see and very hard to get around.
As long as we're talking about that, I hate that intersection. And it's an NDOT intersection. But more importantly, everybody knows this is a problem over there, is the people that get off of 8094 headed north on the boulevard, and they're not supposed to turn at 175th. They're supposed to continue going north and probably legally supposed to go to 173rd and backtrack, but some people get impatient and they cut across and they try to make the left turn lane, or even worse, they get out into the intersection and they merge over and block cross traffic. That's an extremely dangerous intersection. Keep in mind, 8094 at that stretch is one of the busiest stretches of highway in North America. So obviously those intersections are, I grew up in that neighborhood, and that was a sleepy little intersection when I was a kid, and now it's a major big city intersection. And I acknowledge it. I agree. I think that's something for the engineer to take into consideration. Dan?
I'll reach out to NDOT. We'll work on it.
It's a nightmare. We talk about it with PD all the time, because the people, flagrantly break the law there. They're either pulling into the center and waiting for the lights to cycle through, or they dart across trying to get into the turn lane, which is completely dangerous.
They could at least paint that and cut the weeds. Maybe it would help see it.
We could do that also, and people sometimes get frustrated. Why don't you send your guys out there? Because NDOT's not going to do it. And that's true. It's not the top priority for NDOT. And we do, I guess, have the option to go out and paint it, but then my lawyer will start yelling at me saying that we're exposing ourselves to liability when we take on responsibility. It's not our responsibility. Kevin, do I know you pretty well? Yeah. See, told you. Yes, ma'am. Is there a crossing guard at 171st and Kennedy? 171st and Kennedy. Let me get. Yeah, that's right by the park.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
There is
There
one
is?
there all the time.
At the bank. I don't go that way in the morning. I go west.
I haven't seen them. Just they are at Marshall, I know that, but I'm talking about Kennedy. Is there one there?
Kennedy and 171st, yes.
Okay, I'll look.
Interesting fact about the
But I've
crossing
never
guards?
seen one.
They work for the Hammond Police Department, right? Chief, 171st and Kennedy, we have a crossing guard?
We used to have one there, but we can get some more people that want to apply there for that job.
Okay. So we do have one or we don't? Because Jeff says he remembers seeing one there. Uh-huh. Okay. All right, thank you.
Can you address the proposed overpass in Hessville?
Sure. No problem.
And give us some idea. We thought we were going to see a demonstration or some.
Oh, that'll come, believe me. We just got our end of the funding on that project. It's a project that's being funded 2/3 of 1/3, 2/3 from the state of Indiana, which is wonderful, 1/3 from us. I think it's a great opportunity to talk about it with a lot of Hessville people in the audience right now. The number one complaint in the mayor's office constantly from Hessville residents is trains. Absolutely. I don't even think there's a close number two when it comes to Hessville residents. I get a lot of complaints, and part of being mayor for a long time is you start learning what issues are important in different parts of the city. And I know how important, by the way, I live, I could jog to Hessville Park, so I'm real close to Hessville. I think technically I'm in the 5th in Woodmar, but I deal with Hessville every day, just like you all do. And stop trains, it's a public safety hazard, it's a nuisance. It causes headaches for the police department, because when people get stopped and they're in a hurry, you have to double back, and usually you double your speed because you're trying to get someplace. It's just completely unsafe. That's not to mention the kids. They need to go to Scott Middle School. And unfortunately, we've seen kids, we've all heard about it and we've all seen it, the kids that crawl over a dead train to get to school, can't get to Morton. So and I went through I tried for a while to work with the train companies, nothing changed. I tried for a while to be a jerk to the train companies, nothing changed. I was chairman of NERPC, which is a metropolitan planning organization. I put a committee together to study trains, and we brought in congressmen, we brought in federal representatives from the Federal Railroad Administration. Nothing changed. We came to the conclusion that you got three options. One option is for Congress to pass a bill that says trains can't block stop crossings for more than 10 minutes. We got to talk to Dan the Tracker and see if he'll bring that up to Senator Young, because Congress hasn't done that. Why they don't do it is beyond me. If a train goes through our city, they should be able to get through our city and plan their trips out so that they can get through and not block a crossing for more than 10 minutes. We used to have this law that made us all feel good. The Hammond police officers would go out there and ticket them and say, here's your ticket. And they would accumulate hundreds and hundreds of tickets and do nothing with it. But we felt good. At least the officer was out there. You're like, thank you. I see the officer out there writing a ticket, right? And then after a while, the Indiana Supreme Court came out and said, you can't even do that. You don't have a right as a city to ticket a railroad, which on the overall scheme of things is like Congress, railroads, states, counties, cities. We're way low on the totem pole. So railroads are way more powerful and important than cities are. So they said, you got a couple options. Congress to do something? Right. Okay, that option's out the window. Second option you have is build bridges. So we have how many rail crossings in Northwest Indiana? Like, I want to say 850?
500 in Lake County alone.
500, yeah, and in NERC, I think it was closer. I remember that number for some reason.
But it's 800 in the NERC area.
Right.
More than 800 in the NERC area.
So, you know, I know that we like to rebuild other countries with American taxpayer money. I mean, I don't see, you know, Congress allotting enough money to build 800 and something bridges in Northwest Indiana to get over this problem. However, in this case, we came up with a plan, working with the state. Governor Holcomb was huge for us on this. And, you know, and I realized that there's some opposition. I realize that. And the plan calls for basically a new street that'll be parallel to Parish Avenue. It'll go off 173rd, and it'll get us over the rail line there, and it'll drop down where it does a T intersection. You would take a left-hand turn, and you would go to Parish. You would take a right-hand turn, and it would get you to Morton High School. And that in itself would solve this problem for stop trains in Hessville. And it's funded through the state government. It's funded through ARP in the local government. We came up with our end, thankfully to Congressman Murvan's vote, thankfully to Congressman Carson's vote. We funded our end, and now I acknowledge we're getting pushback from people that are concerned about the nature. You know, the swale, the dunes and the swales and the trees. And I'm not mad. I get it, right? You're mad. You're concerned about the environment. I get it. However, when you're sitting in my chair, you got to understand that in my case, I think the greater good is served by building that bridge. Even though the people don't want to hear that are concerned with the environment, I respect them. I understand why they're concerned, but I think the greater good is served by building a bridge. And we will get new housing opportunities out of it. We have that funded as well through ARP. So we'll have single family homes being built in this area over there, and it'll get us over the stop crossing. And then at the end of the day, Parish will be a dead end, right? The current Parish will be a cul-de-sac on each end.
Correct.
Which is, the railroads are helping us with this too, because the railroads want to reduce the number of unprotected crossings like that and at-grade crossings like that. So a lot of people put in for this. And honestly, I think 80% of Hammond residents support us in this, but there are a lot of people that are concerned, and I acknowledge that. I don't know which side of the tracks you're on this. I'm just trying to be as honest as possible. It's funded, it's designed, it's ready to go. Dean, what's the timeline on that?
July 2023 is the bid opening date.
So we got time.
It's in design. It's currently in design with NDOT.
So that's the project, and I'm glad you brought that up. I was going to bring it up if nobody else did because of the audience. This is a great audience to bring this project to. Now, I imagine when this is built, well, you know, it'll be a lot easier to get around those crossings. So theoretically, if you're driving down 173rd and you see those flashing red lights, the flashing red lights of death, you could take a left, go up over the new bridge. If you're going to Morton High School, get to the T intersection, take a right on 171st.
There's also emergency response improvements as a result too.
Absolutely. Thank you for pointing that out. That's the project off the top of my head as I know it, ma'am. And we will do similar types of public unveilings. Thank you for asking. Any questions about that? A great topic. Timely because if I were one to read social media, I'd probably be crying right now, but I don't do that because it's depressing. But I understand that I'm getting beat up on social media over this project from people that are concerned about the environment, and that's their right. I'm concerned about the environment also. But Hammond's landlocked, and we got a major problem and 81,000 people that live here, and I think this is going to help a lot of them. That's why I'm supporting of it. And there's one gentleman in particular, he's doing a good job of raising a ruckus over this, and I tip my cap to him. I think the greater good is accomplished by building this bridge, though. That's where I am. So Okay, Donna.
Yes, sir. I use gohammond.com to get information about my city government. Can you request the Redevelopment Commission to provide an email address on their site and include content describing the purpose, authority, and responsibility to property under redevelopment?
Love it.
Also,
Hi, Africa. This is Africa Tarver. She's been the Hammond's planning development coordinator for 5 years? Four. And she's also Hammond's appointment to the Regional Development Authority, which is an organization that funds big projects all over Northwest Indiana, and she's been our representative on there for 5 years?
4.
There you go. All right. Anyway, Africa, how you doing?
Hi, Mayor. How are you?
Sounds like somebody was perusing through Go Hammond and they noticed a lack of material on planning and development.
Correct. And we are addressing that issue right now. It was brought to our attention, so we're reviewing some information now, and it is going to go on the website.
Maybe this is a good time for us to challenge all of our department heads to renew all of their data on their website. So why don't we all go through, take a look at what we're offering the public, including the mayor's office, and update it, because we've had a personnel change in the mayor's office recently. We have Alexander Stahura. Hi, Alex, nice to see you. Resident of the 4th District, right? You grew up in the 4th District, right? And do you live in the 4th still, or? In Hessville now, so there you go. It's a great Hessville meeting. So Alex is in our office, so we can update that. In fact, Eileen Ibarra, who has been in our office for years, gave birth recently to a baby boy, and she's on baby leave right now. So I have 3 women in my office, and all 3 of them are pregnant, which is, except for Sharon, and I think, hopefully she'll stay with us. So anyway, I'm going to shut up before I get sued. So, all right, let's go.
the second part of this, Mayor, was can you also request the Planning Commission to include meeting videos on their site?
Wow, I love the fact that people watch this, by the way. That's what it's all about. Planning Commission, Brian Poland. City planner does not get a lot of questions at Mayor's Night Out. How you doing, Brian?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Sounds like somebody was perusing the planning department as well. Sounds like you got some homework.
Oh, sure. I'm glad someone actually is looking at our website.
People do. A lot of people do look at the website.
Yeah. That's kind of, in my mind, my end of the year project to look at all of our websites or pages and see what we can do to improve them.
Cool. You get your meeting minutes are up there also?
I don't think they are, and that's another thing we can look into.
That's a good goal, Phil. Right? I think we should. I'm going to put Chief of Staff in charge of this one. All right? Seriously, we should offer every meeting minute. We should offer everything at this point. We were early to the game on using the website the way we do. I think we need to renew our efforts. Sometimes you get a little cocky, right? So I know we have a great web designer, Ray Escamilla. He's here right now. He was the one that built Go Hammond originally. He's still with the city. So I'm going to challenge all my web people to get on it, make sure all of our homepages look nice, and provide a lot of information, including meeting minutes. We videotape all of our meetings, so those should be on there as well. So there's no reason why we can't finish the task. So it's a good Chief of Staff job. Thank you.
Mayor, the trees.
By the way, Chris Campbell, you didn't get away. Hey, what's up, Chris? Chris is the head of IT. Why don't you grab a microphone, my man? I don't know if you heard, I just started Chief of Staff investigation into the use of gohammond.com.
I thought I was going to get away without having to talk.
No, you didn't.
I appreciate Phil taking the heat. Thank you.
Yeah.
They're right. We do have a lot of minutes and meetings from most commissions and boards, but they're not all up to date. We can do better, and it sounds like with Phil in charge, we're going to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to lead us to the promised land.
Yeah. Donna actually let me see that request a little bit before the meeting. So one thing was we want to have an email link on the Redevelopment Commission page. That's been added while we've been sitting here. Thank you, Ray. And then the last 5 videos of the Planning Commission have also been posted. So the last thing on that list is the redevelopment description and what they do and all that, and we'll get that posted.
You know, another thing that we've added in 2021 was the Capital Improvement Board, and I'm sure we could probably do that as well, right? Get those online.
100%.
Yeah.
We're going to get those.
They have a page.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I haven't looked at gohammond.com in a while myself.
Well, at least somebody is. So.
Right. Yeah. By the way, Chris is also in charge of Hammond 311, which is very widely used. How many issues have we solved?
A lot.
But 65,000? Yeah. We were one of the top 10 cities in America for how often we get and clear issues on Hammond 911, so Hammond 311, excuse me. But it's a great program. If you haven't downloaded it, you can download it for free. It's a direct link to city government. So anyway.
And about the Hammond 311, you guys were talking about it earlier. If there is something that is like time sensitive, don't put it in Hammond 311. If it's like someone's breaking into this car, you don't want to submit a ticket to Hammond 311. Call the police.
Right.
If there's a truck that isn't always there, but you want the cops to get there, call the police. Call 911.
660-0000. It's easy
I like
to remember.
911.
Right. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate it. All right, let's keep it rolling, Donna.
Okay, Mayor, last question. Have you had a chance to look into replacing the trees on 169th Street yet? I think last Mayor's Night, someone asked about that because there was a project and we didn't put the trees back. Are we going to put the trees back?
Trying to picture where this
I
is now.
think it's 1800 block?
Oh, right over, that's east of the boulevard? Are you here, sir, or ma'am? Whoever.
Is that
Where? Oh, right at the corner.
Okay.
Oh. Was that part of the, hi, sir. It's right in front of the school.
Yeah, I'm the one that asked last
Thank
time.
you.
It's right kitty corner from here. There was trees on 169th Street before the road project went in. The gentleman you asked about it said it was before his time. And the trees never did get put back in along 169th.
Was it on the school side?
On the other side. So it's from here to basically to Indianapolis Boulevard.
We got the superintendent right here. Maybe we could work together. And hey, Devin, how's it going? He's our tree
Doing
guy.
it.
Look at that. Devin's in the audience.
Actually, we work with an organization called the SCA. It's a Student Conservation Association, and they've been planting trees for us. In the last 3 years, we've planted about 1,800 trees. So what I can do, I'll look at that area. We're doing some plantings, some limited plantings this fall. That sounds like a project we might take on in the spring.
A lot of kids walk down 169th to and from school, so I love trees. We all love trees. And
It was just whatever they ripped up 169th. I know this is a long time ago, but
No, it's all right, sir.
It
I'm
was a
glad you're here.
guarantee that they were going to replace anything they took out. And
you know, that's 169th's a state job, and I'm not here to throw the state under the bus, but you know what, though? I mean, that doesn't mean that we can't follow suit. And sounds like, I know Devin's been planting a lot of trees. Sounds like a great location. So could you put that on your list, Devin? Thank you, sir. Hey, you know the old saying, sir, squeaky wheel gets the grease? There you go. Keep it going. Seriously, that's why we do this. I appreciate it, okay? Thank you. Any other questions? We're wrapping up. I love it. Hi.
Responsible for, like behind their garage and to the alley, like the weeds and stuff like that? Is the homeowner responsible for that?
Yes.
To cut the weeds and stuff? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why?
Well, I mean,
I know, because that's usually the part of my property that I'm not as good about maintaining. So, like, I didn't know if you walk by my house or something.
Okay, because I mean, there's a lot in the alley because I have to drive through it,
Yes, sir.
to get to my garage. And I was just wondering because some people take care of it, and others, there's tall weeds and stuff.
This is a great opportunity to put code enforcement on the microphone. I appreciate it. How you doing, Nick? You heard the
Mayor, how
gentleman's
you doing?
question, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Alley lines, parkways, they are easements which can't be built on or constructed, but they still are the homeowner's responsibility to maintain. So if you have any addresses that specifically are not maintaining them, feel free to submit them 301. The inspectors check 301 every morning, compile a list, and then we'll typically go out, green tag, provide the owner an opportunity to comply, and then try to work with them to get it cut. So any address that you have in mind or 100 blocks, we try to get in the alleys as much as possible.
Okay.
Thank you.
Nick.
Yes, sir.
311, that's huge for you guys, right? That's how you get most of your complaints?
It's pretty big, yeah.
So, like, percentage-wise, how many are coming in the old-fashioned way, like calls in, and how many are coming in through 311, percentage-wise?
We have a significant amount that come in through the 311 application. A lot of people tend to utilize that. It's anonymous, even the calls are. We typically encourage people to call or submit during 311. We still have inspectors check other districts when we have guys on vacation or off. So a large amount of our complaints are submitted, through the 301 app. It's a great tool that we utilize to communicate with residents and individuals who have continued issues that come up.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't know if you answered my question, but I'll run with it. It sounded good. Yes, sir. Sure. It's my job.
The address at 7147 Kennedy.
Okay.
Right in the corner of Hessel Park, right next to the schoolhouse.
Yes, sir. I know
It's
exactly.
the old bargain finder.
Yes, sir.
They have a permit to do what there? I mean, it's falling apart.
I love that
It's such
building.
an
I think honestly,
eyesore.
I agree with you. We had a meeting about this week in City Hall. Phil, could you grab a microphone on that? This is the Chief of Staff, Phil Taylor. We literally had a meeting about this specific piece of property, sir.
And I literally walked the building about 4 days ago. The owner of the building is a business owner, obviously, and he bought the building speculating that he'd be able to do something with it in the future. We're having conversation with him right now about what his plans are, maybe what the city would like to see. But I literally just walked the building 6 days ago. It certainly has issues. There's broken windows and.
Hessel Park is now the walking path, all that. And then you see that right in the corner, right on Kennedy Avenue. It's such a.
You're right.
It's really an eyesore.
You're right.
That
It
building's
is.
been there about 60 years.
Honestly, I don't even know if it's going to be.
It's falling apart.
Quite frankly, if it was grass, I would have no problem with it.
Right.
You know, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes we get into this where we want to develop, we want to find a business, and then sometimes you got to just say, hey, maybe we're better off with just a parking lot there for the park, you know?
Yeah.
I agree with you. I appreciate you bringing it up. We are talking about it. We had a meeting this week on it. I appreciate you bringing it up.
How much would it cost? Would the city have to demolish it?
Yes, ma'am. I mean, under that case, the owner wants to sell it to another business. If we don't think that's going to be successful, we do have the option as a city, because it's a park and it's a public use, we do have an option of getting it ourselves and just demolishing it and saying, hey, we're just going to extend Hessville Park a little bit further out, and there would be no building there.
Okay.
And then, you know, while we're talking about it, you got the Little Red Schoolhouse right next door, and it's not
the
like.
Little Red Schoolhouse.
I agree, but like
I'm
maybe
gonna
we
get
could
a
do.
paintbrush and start painting
No, I
it
agree,
red.
but like, I remember when I was a kid, and when my father was mayor, Little Red Schoolhouse had huge. Every summer, we'd go to huge parties, and you know, and what? Yeah, right. And we don't really do that stuff anymore. So you sort of wonder, what's the purpose of Little Red Schoolhouse? Maybe it could be relocated to a more effective part of our city. So we're sort of toying with that whole idea, ma'am and sir, and we could do better with that corner for sure. I acknowledge it, and I promise you.
Yeah. Okay.
The Historical Society takes care of that, right?
Right.
The schoolhouse.
Yes, sir.
For
Right.
painting and upkeep.
Right.
But it's not owned by the park.
I'm not sure. Brian, is that owned by us? The Little Red Schoolhouse we're talking.
The property is owned by us, but I think the building has, I think there's a lease with the Parks Department regarding that. And it's the Hessville Historical Society, and I think, I'm not sure if they're still active.
Yeah.
Pink, not red.
The little pink schoolhouse. No, you're right. I appreciate it, sir.
And Mayor,
I'm not blowing you off. This is the best part of being mayor, honestly, is just absorbing people's issues and concerns. And when you start hearing the same things over and over again, you know, if you're a good mayor, this is something that's important. And I appreciate you saying this. I want you guys to know we agree that that corner needs to be better.
Mayor, I just was going to mention, and the good news is the owner wants to work with us. He's not he just purchased the property off a tax sale, so we're working together. It's a good sign that he invited me out to take a look at it and talk to him about the project. So we're working together on it.
Thank you. Hey, by the way, hey, Jeff, could you grab Chief Smith, excuse me, yeah. This is our fire chief, Jeff Smith. A lot of change going on in the Hammond Fire Department right now, right?
Yeah, in the front office there is.
How long has your deputy chief been the deputy chief of the fire department?
It would be 10 years this January 1st if he lasted that long.
And then, yeah, he'll probably make it if he was if he wanted to. I don't think.
If he wanted to.
But he's been a firefighter for 30
I
years.
was just looking at my roster to make sure. May 8th, 1988, he came on the Hammond Fire Department.
So 33 years.
Yep,
Kevin
33 and a half.
Margraf?
Kevin Margraf in the back row.
And Kevin Margraf, you know, I'm a Navy guy, and he's a Marine, and he takes every advantage of making fun of me every chance he gets, and I still love the guy to death. And I appreciate his service to the United States of America as a Marine for 4 years, right? And I appreciate his service to the residents of Hammond as a Hammond firefighter for 33 years, and he announced his retirement. And I was wondering if he'd stand and get a big round of applause from everybody. Thank you, Kevin, for what you do for our city. Maybe once you actually leave, we'll actually give you a plaque or something. But right now, I just wanted to recognize you. Yeah. But, you know, while you're standing, we made an announcement yesterday. I don't think it's been picked up by the local media yet, but I am a firefighter. It's been with the city fire department now for 15 years. if I remember
14 or
correctly.
15.
14 years.
14 or 15.
He's a resident of the 1st District, a community leader, a great guy, serves on numerous boards across the city of Hammond. He's incredibly psyched about being promoted from battalion chief to assistant chief now, and he's about to take over as deputy fire chief once Chief Margraf retires. Bernie Griziola. Could you stand up, Bernie? I've had a lot of stability in police and fire since I've been mayor, and I think that's one of my accomplishments as your mayor. And I tell you, it's not very often we have a change in leadership like this. So, Chief Margraf, you've been excellent for our city. We're going to miss you tremendously. He also sits on the Board of Public Works and Safety, and he's still going to sit on the Board of Public Works and Safety. So he'll still be working with us, and of course, remaining a resident, which is wonderful. And I'm really looking forward to Bernie taking over. So congratulations to the both of you. One more time, guys. Thank you, guys. And Donna, we ran through the questions?
Yes, sir.
We got anything else, Kevin? I want to thank all the residents that came out. Lockmueller's here. No, and, you know, I have a feeling a lot of informal questions are going to come, and I appreciate Lockmueller for sticking around and for doing a great presentation. And if you have any questions or concerns, this is the time to bring it up. Keep them, yeah. Oh, good call. Donna.
Sir.
Veterans Day Parade. Could you talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, I hope everyone comes out to support veterans. Saturday, November 6th. We start at Alcott Avenue and travel, that would be eastbound, to Kennedy. And then we're going to do a ceremony, a short ceremony honoring veterans after the parade. So come on out and join us, 10 o'clock.
Do me a favor. Let's go out and support the Veterans Parade. We're unique. And if we keep getting bigger and bigger every year, we'll keep getting more and more participation from entities all across Northwest Indiana, and it's really a good cause. Sometimes we have more veterans in the parade than people watching the parade route. It would be nice if we got a lot of participation from our residents to go out there and clap for the veterans that are walking down the street that day. So thank you very much. And to Jasmine, I mean, she got every word the whole time. You know, I want to say thank you very much, Jasmine. Appreciate it. And I want to, hey. Thank you. Good call. It's 5 to 7, right? Usually always is. And we always do it on October 31st. And I know that some people are like, do it Saturday night. I'm a traditionalist. I don't think the mayor's power includes changing Halloween or national holidays, okay? October 31st is a Sunday. We trick-or-treat the old-fashioned way in the city under my leadership. So let's just stay October 31st, 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock. We are going to have a lot of public works employees and first responders all over the streets of Hammond, 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock. I'll see you guys on Halloween. And I want to thank everybody for, yes, sir, you have a question? Yeah. Oh, no, I was literally going to complete the show. Uh-huh.
6700 block of Alexander, and thank the Kevin Food Board, people, we're going to get it done.
Thank you.
So, man, really appreciate that.
Thank you. We have Dean Button.
Yes, and the other thing there's Nick Street and Allie and Woods and Dave Walker helping us out a lot.
Pretty purple.
So you can somehow get the panel cleaned up.
Thank you, sir.
And I'm trying to get Dave to do ornamental lighting, more lighting. Janet Dennis, we love lighting.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. All right. Thank you all for coming to Mayor's Night Out. I will see you next month. Mayor's Night Out is on Wednesday, December 8th in the 6th District at Scott Middle School. Again, if you have any questions for Lockmueller, they will stay after the show. I appreciate you all being here, and we'll see you next Mayor's Night Out, December 8th.